Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dom001 Resident Evil channel. Today in this video, I'm going to go over all the Resident Evil Village characters that we know of so far. So since the reveal of the game back in June of 2020, there have been a total of 3 trailers, and they give us a good glimpse of all the characters that are going to be in this game. So the first character is Ethan Winters. So with the return of the first person perspective, Ethan comes along with that, and looks like he's going to be the main protagonist of this game. Looks like he lives in Europe and is under the protection of the BSAA, and I think the reason behind this is because of the connections, as they're the ones behind everything as stated in Resident Evil 7, so they must be after Mia. The BSAA is kind of just literally like a witness protection kind of like situation they're in. But other than that, that moves us to our next character, Mia Winters. So she's living with Ethan in this undisclosed location, and she returns, but looks to be like a very short time, because at the end of the first trailer she does die, but we don't know if this is a hallucination or not, since Capcom did reveal that hallucinations were going to be a part of this game. So maybe Mia doesn't even die, and that's a part of hallucination that Ethan is having. I also do believe that the connections are trying to kill Mia, because maybe she knows a little too much, but she did work for the connections, and now they probably know everything that has happened in Resident Evil 7, like the events that happened during Resident Evil 7, so now they just want to dispose of her, and that's where the protection comes in. But that brings us to our next character, Rosemary Winters. So the events of Resident Evil 8 are going to take place several years after 7, and Mia and Ethan have a baby, and that's Rosemary. We're not going to know much about this character. She's a baby, but there's got to be something special about her, and I'm assuming that she's infected with the mold or has some other kind of virus. The village that she's going to be brought to, like the residents of that village are going to want to do a ritual, I'm assuming, or like a ceremony. So now our next character is Chris Redfield. So Chris does return, but he's not our ordinary Chris. He's being perceived as a bad guy, and at the end of the first trailer, he's the one who kills Mia, and he does it right in front of Ethan, and it is kind of ruthless. It's not the Chris we know. I think he does have a reasoning behind it. I don't think he's going to be doing it for no apparent reason, but I suppose we'll have to find out that reason once we play the game. This also brings into the concept art in the special edition. It shows Chris and he's half wolf. We don't know if this is just a metaphor or if he's actually going to be turning into a wolf, and maybe Ethan has to take him out and he ends up dying that way. But in the first trailer it also says that his story comes to a close, so maybe that is talking about Chris, or maybe that's even talking about Ethan, and Ethan's the one that dies in this game. I do believe that one of them is going to die in this game for sure. And I also do think that Chris is doing something for the greater good. Like maybe he is helping to sacrifice Rosemary in order to have more people survive or destroy this virus or destroy the mode. Maybe he's doing that. But now that leads us to Lady Dimitrescu. So she is the tall lady that of course everyone is raving about, and what we know about her is that she does have those 3 daughters that look like they're going to terrorize and stalk Ethan throughout the castle portion of the map, and we can all assume that they are some kind of vampire kind of like creatures. They're drinking blood, and they're talking about how they drink blood, and that also leads to people speculating that she's a tyrant. So I kind of believe this too, like she's tall like a tyrant, she's pale like a tyrant, she has claws that are also similar to a tyrant, but the claws are retractable, and she can speak. So I do believe that, like a lot of other people, that she is like a perfected tyrant that's kind of been developing over time, and she's the tyrant that was supposed to be made from the start. So the next character is Heisenberg. We don't know much about him. We know that he's the brother of Lady Dimitrescu. I don't have much to say about him, but what makes me think of this is that I wonder if there's like a whole family that we're going to have to deal with again, kind of like the Bakers. So we have the Lady Dimitrescu, the sister, we have Heisenberg, the brother, and we've all heard of the next character I'm going to talk about, which is the mother, Miranda. On the map there's some other names that are on there, and I think those all correlate, and they're all like separate sections of this family. But about this Heisenberg, people are also saying that maybe this guy is that big wolf character or whatever that has that huge hammer. People are speculating this because they both have that similar war hammer, and maybe he transforms into this BOW and chases Ethan in the village. Honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think he has his own factory, as you can see on the map, and I think he's only gonna appear in that area, and that big wolf like creature is only going to appear in the village portion. Now we're going to go on to the witch lady. She's very creepy looking, and she sounds creepy, and she has like a staff with this skull at the end of it, and I do believe that she can be Mother Miranda. I'm not too sure. I don't think anyone can tell yet, but I think she has a good chance of being her. She kind of fits the role, I think, or fits the name. Originally, people did think this was the merchant when we first saw the first trailer, but now we can confirm that's not the case. Now moving on to the next two characters are daughter and father, farmers or residents of the village. We don't know exactly who they are, but people are thinking that this character, her name is Emily. There was a leak that kind of went over that there's 3 playable characters, and one of them was this Emily character, and maybe it's her. She does just look like a resident of the village, and maybe Ethan interacts with her, and maybe she has her own house that's kind of a safe area for Ethan to take shelter in whenever he needs to. But there is one screenshot that does show her holding a baby, and I think that is Rosemary. And maybe it's not, but I would bet that it is, because I don't know if there's really going to be another baby in this game. And the question about that is, why does she have the baby? How did she get Rosemary? Did Chris specifically deliver it to her when he kidnapped Rosemary, or how did that all happen, or how did that go down? Anyways, now we move on to my most anticipated character of this game, and that's the Duke. So he is the returning merchant like in Resident Evil 4. Honestly, this is probably the most exciting thing about this game is just a merchant returning in general, because that was one of my most favorite things of Resident Evil 4, and now that's returning, and I'm sure that they revamped the whole system so it's even better than what it was before. And he does have an iconic look, and I think he looks pretty cool, and I just can't wait to meet this guy. And another character would be that old guy from the very first trailer that gets pulled through the roof with Ethan. He's another character that I don't think is really important. I do think he's gonna die right away. Maybe right at that part he gets pulled through the roof and you see him die. I think Ethan's gonna meet him. He's gonna get introduced to all the enemies and the village. So he's not important at all in my opinion. I don't think he'll have an importance, at least. So we just have the other villagers, and I don't think they're gonna have a big role. They just kind of be there, but maybe they do get infected as the story goes on and they just become enemies. Well, that concludes everything in this video. If you're looking for more Resident Evil 8 Village content until the release date, feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you, and have a great day.